Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some more Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, shall we? Picking up with our guide for complete beginners with this Mountain Dwarf fighter, and Dungeon 5 is done, so let's go ahead and go down the steps again. Okay, so we're going from Dungeon 5 to Dungeon 6, and sometimes when you're going between levels, you will see the game basically pause. It's a black screen because there is some text that's important in the log, and it says you hear the sound of rushing water. So what that means is that there is a temporary dungeon branch within Dungeon 6, which is the sewer. So there's all sorts of different kinds of temporary branches where you need to find the entrance to this smaller dungeon before time runs out because the opening will close. If you don't find it, you can never get inside. And you can go inside, get a few extra treasures, but there's a challenge. Now, this particular challenge from the sewer is not hard for us, especially because we have resist poison. So we want to go down there. And typically in the sewer, you can get some potions, but it might be different. Now, we come down the steps, and sadly, there's a snake and an ogre right here by the staircase. And I'm going to push S, and I'm going to show you something which is called stair dancing. It's a good time to explain this. So sometimes what you want to do is run away, and you want to go up the steps. But if you run away up the steps to get out of trouble, the enemies that are adjacent to you and the staircase will come up the steps with you most of the time. Some enemies can't, and some it's not all the time, but it's usually. Now, this is good where if I'm saying to myself, okay, I could fight the snake, but I don't want to fight the ogre. Or I can fight the snake and then fight the ogre, but I don't want to fight them together. So if I go up the steps, I will bring the snake with me. Now, the downside of this, and actually also you see in the log, the ogre has shouted, meaning he's alerted some enemies, and then the adder hissed, and then we heard a bark. So there's another enemy too that's going to be coming. So this is a good time to just, gracefully retreat. But when you go up the steps, you do leave yourself open for one round to an attack. So the enemies are going to get a free attack while I am moving. So if I go up the steps, you'll see that I blocked the adder's attack. So he tried to hit me, it just didn't work. And I killed it. Now, the enemies on the floor below cannot come up the steps. Like, if they don't come up the steps with you immediately, then you're safe. You're done. However, I don't want to go back down the steps because an enemy that knows I'm there, that's adjacent to the steps, will get a free attack on me. So if I go back down the steps, I'm going to get bapped by that ogre right away, and he's going to be right up on me, which I might not want. So to avoid this, what you do is you say to yourself, okay, for some time, this staircase is not safe. So I'm going to push Shift X, and I'm going to push Shift period or greater than to go over here. And just remember, use a staircase down that has the asterisk that I've never used before and go down and see what I can. Now, this is, unfortunately, in this particular layout, right by that other staircase. So if I go out here, we're going to see the hound that was barking, and I'll fight it, and the ogre should be right around there as well. Luckily, he's kind of not, so he might be closer to the staircase, so we can walk around and avoid him. Now, you see how it says you hear the slow rustling of a drain nearby on yellow? That means that in the area by me is the drain. And slow rusting means, not rustling, rusting, means that it's not in danger of disappearing immediately. So it's near us. So let's just walk around. Okay, this water is a great sign. Oh, that is actually the shining one. Okay, fine. And the Shining One is actually a reasonable god for us to choose. And so we know where that is. The ogre is here, and let's just fight it. With our massive 30 armor class from this Hauberk. Now, I will tell you, I forgot to mention this last time. The Hauberk it's amazing. It gives you 30, but it's like a full set of armor. So it takes the slot of our helmet, our gloves, and our boots. So you can see how helmet, gloves, and boots are occupied. So the drawback is that if I find a cool artifact helmet or gloves or boots, I can't wear them with this armor. But the exchange is an outrageous armor class. So for now, it's beyond worth it. And it might very well be beyond worth it for the entire game. I'm going to throw this dart at the ogre. He resisted. And he resisted. So we hit him, but he didn't get affected by it. Boom. Now, we did not take any damage. And I'm going to push Control P just to open up the log and show you. So, I hit the ogre. He's lightly wounded. He missed. And you see here, he hit me but did no damage. So, he also missed us. So what that means is our evasion is 12, which is actually reasonably high given the armor that we're wearing, or at least our armor class. And what happened was he did hit us, but our armor class, remember, we're rolling basically, I like to think of it as rolling a die, even though generally it's some number that's not possible for a die, but it's a random number between the bottom value of our guaranteed damage reduction and then 30, something like that. And so we rolled well enough to completely nullify an attack from an ogre, which ogres hit hard. So that is tremendous. And our maces and flails is up to 12, so we're almost at minimum delay, which is great. Now, I'm not using Auto Explore right now, and I typically don't if I'm looking for something like a drain. So if I'm looking for a temporary dungeon, I walk around manually. Here's some water. Here we go. Okay, so the deep water was perhaps the clue that it wasn't right. The shallow water and the green, this is what the sewer is going to look like, and we're going to run and go into this immediately. So I don't have to worry about the penalties of... I'm going to go in. The worm probably will... No, he didn't come with us. Good. So this is a one-way door. So as soon as you go in here, you got to leave out the other exit, which is when you're in a temporary branch, the doorways are actually yellow squares. They're not really up or down. They're just yellow. And that's the way out. But if you go out right now from the sewer, then you can't come back in. So I'm just going to stand here at this kind of de facto choke point. Now, yeah, the enemies are usually smart, and they'll take advantage of the choke point and walk through so they can hit us two at once. But that's okay. So normally when you're fighting in water, like I talked about, there is a penalty. But because we are flying, we get no penalty from being in the water because we're not in it. We're flying above it. Now I'm going to use Auto Explore and just go around. And there's a lot of dart slugs, but they're not going to hurt us anymore. Okay, this is a great place to fight. In this hallway, I'm going to step back. So you can see the enemies in here are not really that challenging. But some of them can poison you, which is annoying. It's usually rats and snakes and slimy guys. You know, sewer types. A cockroach in here. But with our armor class and our nice weapon, this is kind of a joke. So I'm going to keep exploring. I'm not even worried about ideal positioning. I'm kind of putting a half-hearted effort into it because these enemies are so easy for us. I'm going to start using tab to attack. I'm just pushing tab, walking towards everything and killing it. And there's another way out as we circle around, and then we're getting closer to the treasure. So at the end of this, there should be some kind of treasure, room. It's not going to be a great haul, but it's going to be something. There's a jelly. There's still a lot of guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys in here. Now, what I did was I just did a real lazy technique called auto target or auto fight, and I just held down tab because that was all chaff. Those were easy peasy enemies, and so I just obliterated them instantly. It's just a kind of a time-saving measure, and it's something you can do when you feel powerful, but I tend to do it a lot, and it's dangerous, which is why I set the auto fight to stop at 80 so that I don't accidentally kill myself. I have found in my many years of playing this game that the default of 50%, oh, a scroll of blinking, yes, that's amazing. That the default of 50% is too low. And sometimes if you get to 50% health, you're in a really bad spot and you need to run, and you needed to know that a long time ago. Whereas if you're at 80% health and you stop fighting, I'm just going to pull these ball pythons back. Oh, there's some bullfrogs, which are actually more challenging enemies. They can hit hard. And they can jump around. We got them. Whereas if you're at 80% health when you stop fighting, you have all sorts of options. You can run. You could use abilities and potions. You can reassess. So that's why I do that. All right, so we get some money. We get a scroll of blinking. The blinking scroll is my favorite means of escape in the game. It is the get out of jail free card. I judge my character's survivability very often based on blinking, scrolls, heal wounds, teleport. Teleport is not a guaranteed save, and it takes a while to kick in. Blink, it's shorter range than teleport potentially, but it allows you to move to any square that you could see. So you could get a huge head start and start running away, and it's acts instantly. All right, so we got a scroll. We don't know what it does, and I'm going to move around. Okay, great, we're done. So I'm going to read a scroll of identify, and I'm going to start identifying these potions. Mutation, okay, that's good to know, because I don't want to accidentally drink a potion of mutation and get a negative mutation. Cancellation is a very useful potion. Brilliance is good if you're a spellcaster, okay? And here's one way out. There's many ways out that will all go out the same entrance that I came in when I get back to the main dungeon. But I'm going to read some of these scrolls. Immolation, okay. So Immolation is a scroll that does fire damage, or immolation to everybody, including yourself. But luckily, oh, okay, that was a poison scroll. So this did not hit me, thankfully. And the poison scroll doesn't. It hits every square around you, which is really good, but you got to wait. I'm just going to push 5 until it dissipates. And then we got a scroll of revelation, which is it used to be called magic mapping. It just reveals the dungeon level. I'm going to go out. And here we are, back at Dungeon 6. So let's just auto-explore. And this worm is waiting for us. Now, the worm put us in a web. I just moved until I broke out of the web. Okay. There's some orcs. Luckily, there's just an orc wizard and not a priest. Orc wizards are still really annoying, though, because they can turn themselves invisible and they can confuse you. All right, we got another ID scroll, which is great. Scroll of teleportation. I got my darts back. Sapphire potion. Oh, an antique shop. There you go. So, an antique shop has all sorts of random things. It has a sack of spiders. It's usually expensive, which kind of stinks. Sometimes the specialized shops will be cheaper, but you could see many things that we might want. Some shops will identify the items that are for sale, which is great, because then you could pay the money and then know what that does. Whereas this shop does not identify things. Sack of spiders is an evocable item that just summons spiders, and then it has a bit of a cooldown that you have to wait through by earning experience, and then you could use it again. I like the scroll of teleport, so I'm going to push J and put it on my shopping list, capital J. I'm not going to buy it now. I have 329 gold. I could buy this, but it's not vital, and it's too expensive. Later, when I get a bunch of money, that might be useful. I don't need a scroll of amnesia. The potion unidentified, I will buy. And I'm going to read my own scroll of identify, and just identify this potion, and it's ambrosia. So Ambrosia is a funny one. It kind of heals you and helps you restore magic. It puts regeneration on you, but it also confuses you. So you got to be careful. You can use it in a dire circumstance or when you're around a corner or something and you have a moment. I'm fighting an ice beast. This guy's hard, but we got him. And I'm just tabbing and blowing things up because of our ridiculous armor. Wand of Flame. This is super, super useful. Wand of Flame has a very long range and allows us to deal with certain enemies like electric eels that are in water very nicely. Okay, so here's Grinder. So she's got a Wand of Flame. If you ever encounter an enemy that has a wand, it will have that purple box around it. And it's the game's way of warning you that this enemy is harder than normal because it has a wand. Now, a Wand of Flame isn't one that I'm like particularly terrified of, but it's, not great. So, what are we going to do here? I'm going to first examine Grinder, as you should for any named enemy. And she's a shadow imp. So what can she do? She can cast pain on us, she can paralyze us, and she can blink around. She also has throw flame. So being paralyzed would be bad. And remember, you can push the key to see what these abilities do. I only have a 46% chance to get paralyzed, which is higher than I'd like, but not horrible. And throw flame, 3 die 6 is a lot. It could hit for a ton. Pain is 1 dice 14, which, or 1 die 14. It's fine, It does have a chance to not work. But either way, if I'm going to fight Grinder, I don't want to fight Grinder from this far away. I don't like that. I do think that if I look at my... Let me check something really quickly just to remind myself. I have my Brilliance Potion, and... No, it's Enlightenment that helps with will. Okay. All right. So we've been paralyzed instantly, and now we can act again. We did get hit by the flame. Oh, there's a Steam Dragon, too. Okay, so the Steam Dragon is also quite scary. So Grinder and a Steam Dragon is not great. So what we want to do when we get into a situation where we find an enemy that's quite challenging, and then find another potentially hard enemy, is strategically retreat. And quickly look at the mini-map. So I'm the white square, and there is a staircase up right here. So I'm going to start working my way towards the staircase. And, the Steam Dragon and Grinder, they're going to follow. And that's fine. And they might lose interest at some point, but they'll probably follow us. Now, this is a one-way door, which I'm okay with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand here. And I'm going to wait. And I'm going to blast Grinder with the Wand of Warping. And Grinder is just using the Flame Wand, which honestly, if we're going to just do that, then I'm okay with this. And Grinder's almost dead. I'm going to use one more charge. It'll hit both of them. And Grinder is dead, which is the one I'm much more afraid of. Now, the Steam Dragon does this like steam breath at you, and this makes every tile do damage, which is not great. But it's not doing... Okay, that's more damage than I'd like. So the challenge sometimes for the Steam Dragon is trying to get close enough. Here we go. And now we are. And we did. And we got Maces and Flails to 14. And immediately what I'm going to do is move into armor. And you might say, well, why do you need to move into armor? Your armor class is amazing. No, our armor class is about to get way better. So I'm going to just enable armor and armor only. And we're level 9, which means we get more abilities. And again, if you wanted to lean more heavily into casting, you could go intelligence. But I think strength is even better because it'll help mitigate encumbrance. And I'm just going to go strength. I want to be able to kill things with our weapon. And you're going to see that our armor skill will help our armor class with our Harbrook. I'm going to show you here, actually, that now it doesn't give you a calculation like it does for weapons, unfortunately, but you'll see it go up. Ooh, more Wand of Flame. So, unlike previous versions or older versions of Dungeon Crawl, if you've played it, the Wand of Flame, you don't get multiple copies of a wand. You just add charges to the wand that you have. So we got Grinder's Wand, and we already had a wand. The numbers are so small at this resolution, but I actually have 38 charges on my Wand of Flame, and now I'm going to get even more. So I just got another 32 charges. So I have just a kind of an unthinkable number of charges on my Wand of Flame, which is great because it allows me to, hit things at range. So I can actually push Q, and I can quiver my Wand of Flame. And that was actually Shift Q, by the way. Lowercase q is Quaff Potion. Shift Q is Quiver. And then I can push F and just use F again to just shoot my Wand of Flame at this guy. No, I don't need to do that. I'm actually going to step up here, then get close to the guy. There we go. Armor skill level 4. Great. Okay. And that is Dungeon 6. So what altars have we found so far? Oh, okay. We found more altars than I paid attention to. So we found Shining One, Quazzle, Ashadzari, Rue, Ellie Villon. I always call it Elvilon, but I'm wrong about that. We don't want that. That's a good god if you want to be a, kind of a pacifist build. Or a healing, gentle build. Trog, Zom, and Fading of random. So Shining One is not horrible. If we did Shining One, it would mean we would get some benefits. I'd like Okawaru as a warrior, but the Shining One is fine, and let's just do that because it's here, it's available. Now, we're going to find the Ecumenical Temple. There's a range of floors that you can find a temple on. We have not found it yet, so it's probably on Dungeon 7. But I actually like the Shining One. The only bad thing about the Shining One is you can't do sinister things. So there's certain things you can't kill, and you can't backstab for, I don't know if they changed that, but there are certain spells and abilities and items that the Shining One or good gods will not let you do. They will tell you beforehand, don't do that. They'll usually give you a one-time warning. If you read a scroll of immolation or a scroll of torment or something, and you didn't know, you did it accidentally, the Shining One will be like, I will let you do it one time, but if you do it again, you will make me upset. But even given that, what I like about the Shining One, here we go, is that you just get this bonus to hit. You can't be stealthy with the Shining One either because you radiate light. It's really hard when you're a beacon of light. But let's go in here, and you basically kneel before the altar like you're going down steps, and then you can read this before you join up. And so the Shining One are bound to the code of the Honorable Warrior. So you can't do dark magic and underhanded tactics like hitting enemies that are unaware, which is like the backstab. So it's really bad if you want to be sneaky. But you get power to slay demons and the undead, and we can call upon angels to help us out, which is, pretty good. And the other thing is, you could switch to the other good gods and keep some piety and not make the Shining One upset. So in this game, once you join a god, you commit to a god, you're like, I'm in. That's great. You can do that. But if you try to change gods and renounce your god and then go to another god, the god that you're switching from will be upset at the insult and may take retribution against you. And it's proportional generally to how invested you are with the god, like how much piety you'd gain, how much time you've spent with it. So you do not want to upset a god unless you can handle the wrath. But in this case, we could pivot to Zen if we wanted. Ellie is no, we don't want that. Now, what are the powers? What are the benefits that we get? So, the Shining One prevents us from stabbing unaware foes right away. That's not really a benefit, that's just a thing. But you also will radiate a righteous aura, and all foes within it are easier to hit. Great. We get shielded from negative energy, which we don't really need because of our weapon. We get power from killing unholy and evil enemies. But the activated abilities, we could call upon the Shining One for a divine shield, which is really good. You could channel blasts of cleansing flame, which is also actually good. And you could summon a divine warrior. The Shining One will also guard your life against certain things, and you could get your weapon blessed. So it's not like the most powerful. It gets really good as an endgame choice because some of these abilities endgame are super, super useful. But it's good enough to give our character a nice little boost and help our accuracy, which I care about. And I don't think I've done a guide with the Shining One as our god. So let's go for it. So you just push enter to join, and the Shining One's like, hey. Now we have our aura, you see around us, that little circle, but that's it. We need to gain piety, which is like the currency of our god's favor, to get that aura bigger. Now you see in the upper right, Mountain Dwarf of the Shining One, and then it's like ... So it's telling us, okay, we're the basher because maces are our highest skill, and we are worshiping the Shining One. And for every level that we move up in terms of piety and grace that we have with our god, you'll see asterisks up there to denote that. And our aura is going to get bigger when we have more favor from our god. And we get that by just doing good things and killing, the undead. So, or demons or whatever. Let's go down to the next floor right over here. And there's a bombardier beetle. And we're just going to walk over to it. And it put us on fire. Okay, so we're in fire. How about I say that correctly? We're on fire. We're not standing in fire. The fire is on us. So we need to move around to put this out. So I'm trying to do that. There we go. I got it off. And I shook it off by moving. Now, that illustrated, though, something that they changed with Dungeon Crawl. So if you're an older player coming back, it didn't used to be this way. But if you move and you try to move away from an enemy, they have a 33% chance to get a attack of opportunity, basically, against you, like a free attack against you. So they kind of nerfed kiting a bit. So you just have to be aware that if you're trying to run away and an enemy is adjacent, every once in a while they might get a free attack on you. Now, these howler monkeys, they yelled, and you could see the noise meter has gone up to red, meaning like, well, they howled. And so pretty much any enemy in the area knows that we're here, which is not a big deal against the monkeys, but it could be a big deal against other enemies. So we'll stand here and fight. Now you see our armor class has already gone up to 31 because our armor skill is level 5. The higher our armor skill, I'll go push M and I'll push G. I'll push exclamation point. Nope. M question mark. There we go. Good God. The keys being different on each screen sometimes throws me off. So this multiplies the AC gained from wearing armors of all kind, both from body armor and cloaks. It also slightly lessens the penalties of spellcasting and ranged weapon speed from heavy armor. So if we raise this one level, our armor class goes up by 0.4 and our evasion by 0.1. And it'll help our spellcasting. We are poisoned right now, which is indicated by the green drop in the upper right corner of our character portrait, and we are no longer poisoned. So it wore off pretty quickly. I'm just going to push 5 to rest, and oh, okay. So you see these humans that are question mark. I'm going to examine this guy. They're not giving me a good description. Usually, these enemies are part of a named enemy, and they are like enslaved, but I'm not sure if that's the case right here. I'm going to just wait. Oh, okay. We need to go. So there's a centaur that appeared over there and is shooting us. I'm going to walk up the steps. We're going to get shot. Actually, I think those humans are just baddies. I didn't see any affiliation, but we'll find out. And I'm going to use a different staircase to go down because I don't want to get shot at by a centaur. Centaurs can do ungodly amounts of damage with their bows. So let's run away. Okay. You see our armor skill is going up nicely. Here's an ogre. And again, he didn't hurt us. Now, the centaur, all we need to do is walk close to it. And you'll see that the centaur now has kicked us. And it's kicking and like hit punching us. It's switched from its ranged weapon to its melee weapon, which is... That guy just had bare hands. All right, we're going to fight this human. I'm going to walk back, actually. And I'm going to walk back... Oh, fiddle-dee-dee. Okay. I got attacked from both sides here. These humans are kind of tough. Our armor class is up to 32. They have just regular maces. Nothing great, but annoying. There's another centaur. So we got to just walk around and try to minimize the amount of line of sight it gets so that we don't get hit by its bow and then can go into melee range with it. And we did. And I'm just moving around now. Just flying around. Teleport trap. Sweet. Well, everybody, I think this is a good place to stop this episode of our Complete Beginner's Guide to Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Our character is amazing so far, knock on wood. We're up to 32 armor class, and we are almost 10th level. We're 9th level. We've chosen a god. We're on Dungeon 7, and we're rocking and rolling. And I hope you're still finding this series to be useful and fun. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I'll check you next time. Take care.